Okay, mute. Yes, we are there now.
Yes.
You are ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Cynthia is the one who is going to welcome people, or who is going to welcome people? Cynthia, I'm told you are the one going to welcome people.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Cynthia.
I hope you're all well.
We are doing very well. What about you?
You're doing well?
I'm also doing fine. Yes, I am. So
Okay.
thank you, everyone, for today's meeting. I hope you're all eager and ready to learn from our facilitator, who is Mr. Wasike. So let's go to Skill Up. Let me introduce Skill Up before Mr. Wasike joins us. So Skill Up Mentorship Program is a program which is sponsored between Westfield Construction Company and RWK Associates. RWK Associates is an audit and tax consultancy firm. So Skill Up Mentorship Program is part of our CSR, that is Community Social Responsibility. So that is why today we have introduced our speaker of today, Mr. Eliud Wasike, train us on how to write proposal for funding. So thank you for joining us. Let me introduce Mr. Wasike.
Cynthia, because a number of people are joining maybe after 7, because it's 2 minutes to 7, we can give them a few moments, and then you can also, if you can take them through the Skill Up program as they keep joining.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. I can give them time to join. So let us share a bit of a Skill Up mentorship program so that you can learn who we are as a team. We are starting to share the content. So Skill Up mentorship program is sponsored by Westmill Concrete Construction Company and RWK and Associates, which is an audit and tax consultancy firm. So we mainly do many trainings, and I've been doing a training, and we have a training on business funding. Also, run through how this is what we're doing, how to write the business proposal. So I request Pastor to share the slides on what we do and who we are. So I hope you all see our profile, our Skill Up profile. So what we do, a Skill Up mentorship program will involve certified trainers and professionals who train attendees on making different products, but also for on hygiene, and there is a step-by-step procedures guided by provided in the physical training, where each attendee can get finished product. Our mission to nurture successful entrepreneurs by equipping individuals with the knowledge, resources, and practical skills necessary to grow successful businesses. Our vision together in providing business mentorship and support to individuals in the community catch. So who are we? Skill Up Mentorship Program is a program sponsored by Westmill, Concrete, and RWK CPAK as part of our social responsibility. We believe in integrating social responsibility and our day-to-day business objectives to do good and do business simultaneously. So we can check up on the next slide as we wait for more members to join so that Mr. Wasike can take us through the program. So this is yogurt making. So we also did bar soap and liquid soap on 23rd of April 2022. We also did dishwashing paste, hand body, and body lotion on 21st May 2022. You can see the people who came. Also did shampoo and hair food on 25th June 2022. So these trainings are free. It's part of our community social responsibility. So the people who came, they did not pay anything. It was a free event so that people, they can come and learn from us and do something with their business so they can do something with the knowledge they got on the training. So we also did peanut butter and tomato sauce on 25th June 2022. So on 24th September, we did KEB certification, branding, and digital marketing for your products. So you can see the people who came for the events, they learned a lot on KEB certification, branding, and also digital marketing as a whole. So the slide you're seeing are our testimonials. You can see people who talk to us about what we do, how they have been helped through coming to our community social responsibility and a Skill Up Mentorship Program. So I can see the participants are 20, and you can now start the training, Mr. Wasike.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
So you have done.
I think so, but now I can't hear any. Oh, sorry.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
I can't hear.
Can't hear.
I see.
Kindly unmute yourself.
Mr. Wasike, are you ready?
Okay, let me get my screen, my presentation on, and then I would get. So our technical person, you can remove now what's on the screen right now.
Kindly hold on as we wait for Mr. Wasike to start sharing the content. As we wait for Mr. Wasike, you can tell us where you're watching or listening us from on the comment section. Thank you for joining.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to confirm that you can hear me. Yes, that's good. Thank you. I want to take this time to welcome all of you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Eliud Wasike. Eliud Wasike. I am a consultant. I've been in consultancy since August 1995. From August up to today, August 1995. And I'm so excited to be your presenter today. Apart from that, I also work for a faith-based non-profit organization here in Nairobi, which operates in 17 countries, 12 countries in Africa, and 2 countries in the Caribbean, Haiti and Jamaica. We also have presence in US, UK, and Switzerland. And I'm glad to inform you that I work in the headquarters that is in Kenya. Headquarters is based in Kenya, Karen. And today I'll be sharing about how to prepare a proposal for funding. How to prepare a proposal for funding. And just before we start, I'm trying to get my technical assistant here to make sure that my video is on so that you can be able to see me. I do not know what has happened, so I want to try and make sure that you can see me so that I don't look like a ghost speaking from some place. All right, I think you can now see me. I just want to find out, possibly you can put a message if you already know me or you have met me. You can just put it in the message so that I know I have somebody who at least knows me. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the biggest struggles that many organizations have is funding. And many of them do not know why they have this problem, because they write proposals and those proposals are not funded or not honored. And they do not know exactly what is the problem. I remember one of the organizations came and actually decided that they want to give me a job so that I can go and work in the organization to assist them to do, to write proposals. But many people write very good proposals, and those very good proposals are still not funded. So we want to share a few tips on how you can write a proposal that will be funded. And I would request that if you can unmute so that we can be able to have one voice. Okay, I think the noise has gone, so we can continue. So I've already introduced myself, and my presentation this evening is going to be what you need to know before writing a proposal for funding. Number two, we are going to look at the criteria for project proposal appraisal. I had an opportunity twice to sit in a committee that was assessing various proposals, and also had an opportunity as a facilitator in one of the organizations to train people on how to assess proposals for funding. Then number three, we shall be looking at what is proposal writing, and then we go through the process of proposal writing. What is the purpose of a project proposal? What's the purpose of a project proposal? And then we shall be also looking at logical framework. As we begin, what you need to know before writing a proposal. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, before one embarks on proposal writing, it's important that all relevant information is acquired in good time. And the following information must be established before you write a proposal. Number one is the project detail. What does the project entails? Many times you need to know the project that a donor is interested in. And I will give you an example. If you are writing a proposal on HIV and you send to an organization whose interest is in environmental or climate change, you can be very sure it does not matter how good, how well you write that proposal. It won't be funded because you need to know what project an organization is interested in. So find out, is the donor interested in social-based project, poverty eradication kind of project? Is it a project related to gender and advocacy, HIV and AIDS or malaria? And by the way, right now, most of the organizations that were funding for HIV, right now they are dealing with HIV and AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis. Is it a project that deals with the girl child and FGM? Or is it political related kind of project? I have written a proposal for women who are in politics. And I remember it was funded, and even the donors came all the way from US to come and meet with the women aspirants here in Kenya. Or is it a project that is related to education? Or is it related to environmental or income generating activities? Or is it a proposal that is related, that is research based? There are proposals or projects that are research based. And I remember being involved about 3 where they were research based. And we did quite a bit of one of the projects. We did a research in Lake region. There was another one which was technical oriented, and we did in different parts of the country. So you need to know, is it research based? And if it's research based, what kind of research that project is interested in? The second thing you need to know is the organization you are sending the proposal to. So you have to know what kind of organization you are going to send the proposal to. Because if you do not know the organization, then you will not be able to prepare a proposal that will be relevant to the ideologies, ethos, values of that organization. So you first, before you take a pen and start writing a proposal, you need to know, first of all, what organization are you sending this proposal to? A number of times somebody has called me and told me, I know you are a consultant. Can you write for me about 2 or 3 proposals? And I tell them, you are my friend, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to write. Even if you pay me, I'm not going to write. Where do you want this project proposal to go? Which organization is the one that you are sending this proposal to? And which project is it all about? And some of them have said, just write about any project, and we can try to send it to any organization. And that is exactly like taking a gun and shooting in the dark and expecting to hit a target. You don't just write a proposal about anything, and you don't just send a proposal to any organization. The other thing, once you have known the organization, get to know what are their priority areas. And the priority areas relate to what we have just shared. What is their priority areas? And those are some of the projects that you can see here. What are some of their priority areas? Then the other one is the budget limit. And the budget limit and also the currency that needs to be put there. Many of us, we are familiar with our Kenyan currency. But if you send a project to somebody who is in Ireland, Finland, Switzerland, who has no idea even about the currency of Kenya, they don't even know, and they do not want to take the trouble to go and Google and find out the exchange rate. So you need to know what currency is relevant to that particular organization. And the budget limit, I remember I wrote up, this was more of a business proposal, which was going to the European Investment Bank. And I said, I don't think I'll write another one. And that's about 20 years ago. It was the most detailed and demanding proposal I've ever written. And for them, the minimum they can give out is 10 million. So if you are writing any proposal, however good, however excellent you have written that proposal, and your minimum, possibly your maximum is 5 million, they will tell you this is misplaced. Go and look for an organization that can fund 5 million. For them, they can only talk or speak to you if you are going to write a proposal that is 10 million and the maximum was 110 million. Then there are some organizations that require that you must give, you must make a contribution. So you need to know the organization you are sending to. Do they require you to write, to have a contribution? And this contribution, maybe if you have one-to-one or closer to me, I'll be able to tell you how to go about in terms of contribution. Because many times we forget the time we spent in that project, the building we are using, the community that are involved in the project, actually making contribution that can be equated to a certain amount of money. There are organizations, and I have had quite a number of them, who have said, we shall match whatever you contribute. They say, if you contribute 5,000, let us say 50,000 US dollars, which is approximately slightly above 6 million shillings, then they say, we shall match that. So you contribute 60,000, 50,000 US dollars, and they say, we shall also give you an equivalent. There are so many projects and organizations that demand for that. So if you are going there and you are saying, here we come from a poor place, we do not have anything, so our contribution is zero, then it does not matter whether that proposal has been written by the most educated, most competent professor. That project will not be funded. Why? It's because they are requiring that you make a contribution and you are not making any contribution. Then you also need to know the target area, that is the geographical location of the project that your partner or your donor is interested to fund. I know of one of the clients that I have been relating with in the last about 2 years, and they have been funded only to operate in the dry, semi-arid part of Kenya, and that is the northeastern and some parts of the coastal region of Kenya. And if you insist, no, my project is going to be in Kiambu, or my project is going to be in Kericho or Kitale, then they say, fine, you continue with what you are doing in your Kitale or your Kiambu, but we can only fund a project in Turkana, in Garissa, in Mandera, in Wajir. So you need to know the geographical location that the donor is interested. And in most cases, it does not matter how you justify, they are set in their mind, you need to know that. The other one is the target group, who are the beneficiaries. And the beneficiaries here could be either the girl child or the woman entrepreneur. Like right now, I was just involved as a consultant to a project that is sponsored by the American Embassy. And this particular project needed to be, the beneficiaries had to be women entrepreneurs who have been in business for at least 1 year and have registered the business or have a license. So even if you talk about all other stories, as long as it's not a woman and as long as it's not an entrepreneur, then you have no business. Even if you write a proposal, how they won't listen. So you need to know the target group. Who are the beneficiaries? Sometimes the beneficiaries, they would, many projects right now, ladies and gentlemen, if you want for it to be funded, it should be a project that is targeting women, targeting the vulnerable children, targeting the orphans, or a project that targeting the marginalized communities. Otherwise, the other men who are in other parts of the country, I would say, may God help you. It's only God who helps. Who will be, who will help those men, because many projects, unless you are among the marginalized, or you are among the women or children, many projects will not be interested in any other person who does not belong to that. Then the other one is the format recommended by the organization or the donor. I have written many proposals, many projects, many business plans, and all that. But I would like to tell you that different organizations have different formats. So you don't just have to follow that this is the format I was taught in school. This is a format that I have used and it has been funded. It might have been funded when you are writing a project, especially a project that was funded by the European Union. And then you write another project to go to Canada, you will find a complete different format. I have written a proposal which was funded by the Germany, and I found it completely different from proposals sent to US or UK. Completely different. And also different from proposals that are sent to some to World Bank. I've written a proposal to IFC World Bank. The format recommended by the organization is very important. For a long time, the main organization needed very comprehensive, sophisticated proposals. But nowadays, they have really come down. And I remember one time I was seated in a hotel taking coffee and we were watching TV. And I sat with this gentleman. He looked just a simple gentleman whom I was working on a certain project with him under the British Council. That's close to 15 years ago. And as we were watching TV, there was something which was happening. And that time, Nation Media was asking for money to buy food and take it to Turkana. And he asked me, how do you think this project is sustainable? By asking for money to buy food and you take to, he was calling Takana. I said, okay, it's not sustainable, but they are addressing an urgent need. And I asked me, for how long will they be doing so? Of course, I said they won't do it for long. And then he said, what would happen to those people? So he asked me, what do you think is the right and most sustainable project? And I came up with an idea. And the idea was to go and identify educated men who are teachers, who are working for the NGOs, and who are working in the government offices, government development and social development officers. And he said, one would train these people in entrepreneurship and train them on business counseling. I said, okay, the next thing, what would you do? I said, I would go and identify people who are, at least who can understand English or Kiswahili and have ability to write and read and write, then train them to identify business opportunities in their own community and assist them so that they get the skills and get started. And I said, I would have a program called Business Startup Program. And I would train them entrepreneurship skills to identify business opportunities, come up with business ideas, do a simple business plan, then give them some little seed money. He said, okay, that looks better idea. And then he left. After he left, after about 6 months, he sent somebody all the way from UK to come and look for me. And he told me, there's something you discussed with Mr. Cloud. Can you put the ideas you said and put it in 3 pages? Only 3 pages. And said, the first one, can you describe the problem? The second one, describe the solution plus the methodology. The third one, can you prepare a budget? And I did it. After doing it, before he left, he told me, he looked through and he told me, whatever you have written here, you cannot manage to do this project. He said, you have asked for very little money. Said, okay, I'm going to assist you before I take it. And he doubled the money. After doubling the money, doubled the budget on the budget, and he left. After sometimes I'll get an email, and he asks that, can you write down your bank details? of course, I wasn't working as an individual, I was working under an organization. And I wrote the bank details. And by the following day, there was money which has been wired into that account. And we went to do the project and were being supervised by the British Council. So were only 3 pages, a proposal of 3 pages, and it was funded. Now, the other thing which I will also be telling you, most of the organizations are asking, they want to develop a relationship with the applicants. They would like to develop a relationship with the applicants before just funding, because they just don't want to give you money. They want a relationship. And now, because this man, we had worked with him, he had understood my ability, plus the organization I was working for, he could comfortably approve the money without a lot of struggle. The next thing is the project period, minimum and maximum. Like the project we were doing, it was only for 1 year. And beyond that, he said, we shall not do anything beyond that, because the money was only available for only 1 year project. And he said, you need to come up with a way of handing over to those people you have trained there, who will continue to train the locals after you have left. And we did it for 1 year, and that was the end, and that was it. But if you want to do a project of 10 years, they will tell you, sorry, we shall only fund you for 1 year. After that, look for somebody else. So you need to know that with the organization, what is their project period. I would like just to go up to J, and then after that I'll pause so that we can find out if there are any concerns. The other regulations or conditions relates to the contribution, which I have already discussed, legal status and registration. Many organizations will fund you, give you what we call a grant if you are registered as non-profit. And in Kenya, according to the legal registration status in Kenya, it could be registered as a CBO, and a CBO in Kenya, mainly community-based organization, is registered within a county, or it's registered as non-governmental organization, NGO, or registered as a foundation, or registered as a limited company by guarantee, not by shares. As those are some of the registration status that are able to attract some funding, because the status do not allow you to share any dividends to the founders or to the members of the management. So none of the management or founders are entitled to any dividends or profits or surplus accrued to any activity that the organization deals with. So if your organization is registered as a limited company by shares, that is what is a business-oriented profit making, then the organizations that are likely to fund you are organizations that are going to give you a credit, which is loan and is repayable under particular conditions that are given within that organization. The other area is organization structure. Many organizations will ask, can you share with us the organization structure? They want to see how the management of that organization is set and who reports to who. And this is for the purpose of corporate governance. So you need to have an organizational structure. And it's very possible, just because of the organizational structure, you find that a proposal is not funded. There are organizations that will ask you for bank statement because they want to find out your financial base, because for whatever reason that they may have. So they will ask you for bank statement, and you can find that you have written a very good proposal, but because of your bank statement, it will, you may not be funded, or you may be funded. Then the last bit here is you need, many organizations would want to know the implementing organization. Which organization is the implementing organization? To J. And as we shall be moving forward, it's important to get this information before you take a pen to start writing a proposal. You need to know, this is the information, what you need to know before writing a proposal for funding. I want to pause there for a second or so to just find out any concern or any comment before I move on. The criteria that is used by most to assess or to appraise proposals. Any concerns, any comments, any question before I move on? Okay, if there's no comment, allow me to move on. Criteria for project proposal, that's criteria for assessing project proposals. So criteria for projects appraisal. I have had an opportunity to sit in 3 times to sit in different committees that were assessing proposals. And one of them, there was in 1999 to about the year 2004, a program which was started by the late Professor George Saitoti, and it was started in every district in Kenya, something called Poverty Eradication Committee, or committee. So I got the opportunity to be chosen to sit in the committee for one of the districts, may not tell you which one of the districts, as the expert to assist in appraising or assessing the projects that were presented there. And there was money that was given by the central government, of course, through some donor, and distributed in all the districts across the country. So I was there to assist and actually to give the technical advice to the committee, because we had the district development officer, we had the district social development officer, we had the district DO, we had the representative of the members of parliament, and I was there as a financial expert. So that's how I was selected to sit on that committee. And we had a criteria that we had to follow. I had also opportunity to train the AIDS control committees, and I trained constituencies in Kenya and 9 districts. So I was training the committees that were assessing. So I was the one giving them the guideline on how to assess proposals that had been had been given to Africa. So there was a criteria, and we had a training under the PricewaterhouseCoopers in this. Then we had also a project that some money that had been given by IFC World Bank, and this money had been channeled through one of the leading banks in the country and I was among the people who was training people on how to assess the proposals. Then there was also another project that there was money from the organization who used to be Overseas Development Agency, ODA, which later on became DFID. And I got also an opportunity to train for people on how to assess the proposals. So based on that, they are just almost similar to what I've shared with you. So you would see it's very, very close. Number one, they would look at, does the project address the identified really problem? There is a problem that you have identified, and they ask, does this project address and identifies a real problem? So you need, that project need to identify and address a real problem that has been, that can be felt. Like right now, if you said, what is the problem that we have now in Kenya? One of them is the cost of living, climate change, poverty, unemployment, etc. And there's a quiet one of the boy child, which nobody wants to address. I don't know why. Then, does the project demonstrate clear objectives in line with the donor priority areas? Does it demonstrate clear objectives in line with the donor priority areas? And that is where we say you need to come up with very smart objectives. And one of the areas, the objectives must be very specific. They have also to be measurable, and they have to be defined within a period of time. That's then, does the project have an interactive and participatory approach among the beneficiaries where there's community involvement? Because there are some projects that have been started and they have not succeeded because there was no community involvement. And I'm told of a project which was started in one of the parts of this country, Kenya, and people went and gave money, and I mean, they came and started building toilets. And the toilets looked so good, better than the houses they were living in. And one of the communities, do you know what they did? They converted one of the toilets into a store to keep in food because it was more secure and it looked better than the stores that they had. So they completely abandoned the use of the toilet and they did not use it for the purpose that it was intended, because the community was not involved in identification of the problem. And therefore you wrote a proposal for a project that the community is not involved. Have an interactive and participatory approach among the beneficiaries. And then there's have high chance of producing the results. That is to say, we invested money, and after investing money, we can see it's possible to follow up, see the impact that it has made, and the results. The next one is, does the project implementers. Here we are looking at credible institution framework of competent implementers, people who are experienced, people who have the competence to implement this project. For example, you have people who have, if it is something like is environmental related kind of project, you have people either have experience or have studied environmental science. Now, we wrote a certain project, and later on, when it was denied, we even laughed at ourselves. Actually, we were 3 men, and we were told by a friend that, hey, there is a project you could pay up. And that was the early stages of our consultancy. And we wrote a proposal, and we did sufficient research. My technical assistant tells me there was a problem with audio. Charles, can you confirm if you are able to get me? Cynthia, are you there? I want you to confirm if you can get me.
Yes, we can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Did you lose me at some point?
Yes, we did.
Okay, at what point did I disappear?
After point C, having an interactive and participatory approach among the beneficiaries. That we were on criteria point D.
Okay. Okay, I'm coming back to. But you can hear me right now clearly?
Yes, you are loud and clear.
Caroline Wanjiro, are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
You can hear me now. Oh, good. Just go to share. Okay, we are working again on the screen to share. Just be patient. You can grab a cup of tea or coffee as I don't know whether you're able to see the screen. I want just confirmation whether you can see the screen before I continue. Okay, you are able to see the screen?
Oh, we can see it now.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, thank you. So now we can continue from there. The next thing we are asking ourselves is what is a project proposal? But somebody said you got lost at when we were talking about C or at D.
D. We can start from D.
Okay, thank you. Many organizations or donors would want to fund a proposal that can demonstrate that the project has high chance of producing verifiable results. The reason is that they are giving in money and they want that money to serve a particular purpose. And some of the people who are giving the money, they have also received money from other organizations. And therefore they want to be very sure that that money will serve the purpose. I remember there's a project we've just been doing, and is supported by an organization based in UK, and they funded us. We did the project, and they kept asking for me to give them progress report. Where have we reached? Have we done phase 1, phase 2, phase 3? And I learned that as we were writing a report and sending photos and lists and whatever, they were also writing a report to send also to their donors, because they are supporting different. They had some projects in the Western Africa, they had some projects in Northern Africa, and they had some projects in Southern Africa. And we were here, I was implementing a project which was focusing on the Eastern Africa. And right now, after giving the final report, they were happy about it. And they have asked me to prepare another proposal for a project in Ethiopia. As I'm talking, they have already sent the money. So I'm just preparing myself so that I go to Ethiopia. And as I go to Ethiopia, whatever I'll be doing, I have to send reports, because they are also send reports to another partner. The other one is have appropriate monitoring and evaluation measures. That is, they want to know how will you be measuring and monitoring the progress of the project. And some of the items that need to be put there, it is maybe quarterly or monthly meetings, quarterly or monthly reports, or annual reports, depending with how long the entire project is all about. They would need to know the inspection or field visit reports that you're going to be taking place, and also the photos that you're going to send. So mainly it's reports, meetings, and all that kind of thing. Then they want build in-house and in-country capacity. So do we have people who are competent, who are experienced, who are trained in a particular area that you are implementing the project? Then they have credible institutional framework, competent implementers. You have implementers. And I was giving a very interesting example here, that we had a project where someone just came and told us there's a project that they're looking for consultants, and that is close to 18 years ago, when there were very few consultants in Kenya. And we would be called left and right. There's a project here, present a proposal. And whoever gave us who came to request us, I don't know whether he really assessed us well. Because we wrote a proposal and we are 3 men. We had 3 consultants, very tight friends. We had registered a company. We had an office. And when we were told write a proposal, we sat down, wrote a proposal, and a good one. But that project was not funded. The reason being, it was a project which was FGM related project. And we are 3 men. 3 men, none of us was a doctor or a medical person, completely ignorant of what happens in FGM. And when it was denied, actually, we even laughed at ourselves, surely. What were we doing, surely? How could we write a proposal for FGM? And we have no lady, no doctor, no nothing. Then also projects the donors will be looking at, that a project contains a sound design and methodology. Have you come up with the right methodology to execute or to implement this project? by looking at the method you have stated and explain, do you think you can be able to implement this project successfully? So the methodology, the design and the methodology is very important. Does the project have high level of project sustainability? And here is where I said many projects, those old days, many donors had plenty of money, very few implementers, very few consultants, very few NGOs. So they would just give money and they continue giving. But time came, the donors reduced, the problems in Africa and developing countries increased, the number of implementing organizations increased, and that's where we reached a point where we had donor fatigue. And as a result of donor fatigue, there was now an emphasis of an organization coming up with what we call sustainable projects to sustain the project beyond the donor funding. And that's where you find many organizations came up with their own way of developing donor funding activity, not donor funding, but income generating activities for them to fund part of their projects. And that's where we had, like, NCCK came up with the guest houses, and they have one in Mombasa, one in Limuru, one in Nakuru, another one in Kisumu. And even churches now started putting up different hotels, radio stations, universities, TV stations, guest houses, and all that for the purpose of donor, the purpose of income generating activities. Now we want to move on to the actual part, to the main body about proposal writing. And here we start by asking ourselves, what is a project proposal? I would say a project proposal is just a statement of intent. It is what you intend to do. And it just gives a broad view of the steps to be taken to achieve the intended goal. So it's a written document or a statement that outline what you intend to do. And it gives just a broad view of the steps that you're going to take to be able to achieve the goals that you have stated in that particular proposal. And it is also referred to a request for financial assistance to implement a project. So it's going to be in that particular project, it gives a request for financial assistance to implement a particular project. And if I may just say, at early stage, before we get in, because I'll really emphasize on it, is that it starts by identifying a problem within the community, identifying a problem within a certain region among particular people, coming up with a solution, and with that solution, you come up with the objectives, the main goal and objectives that you want to follow to be able to solve that particular problem. Then now you state the methodology that you're going to use to execute and to implement that project, and develop a budget, the resources required to actualize that particular project. Then you come up with a way on how you're going to monitor to make sure that the project is done according to specification, within the budget, and within specified period of time. So now we move on, and as we move on, we can also say that it's an important plan which provides a summary of objectives, activities, and resources. And the resources here, we mean human, material, and financial requirement to complete the project within specified time, and also according to specified standard. That is what a project proposal is all about. And what is the purpose of a project proposal? The purpose here is it's a selling instrument. And if it's a selling instrument, you must use very strong, convincing words that will act like they will be able to persuade. The most principle here is to keep in mind that as you prepare this proposal, you are going to use it to sell through your writing. So your writing has to be very strong, very precise, and you are not just presenting facts. You are going to kind of persuade. You want to convince the reader or the donor or the partner, and you have to have your words that are going to be strong enough to persuade. For young people of today, when they want to get married, I have heard in Kiswahili, I do not know where it came from, kwamba wanarusha mistari. Hizo mistari is what would refer as a proposal. I know there are people who are following from South Sudan. I don't know how many are following from Uganda. So sometimes if I throw in a Swahili word, I'm careful so that. But when people say they are going to propose, all the married people here, I don't know, unfortunately, I'm not able to see all your faces. I would say you are married today because your proposal was accepted. Yeah, you must have presented a very good proposal, and that proposal was accepted, and that's why you are married. Now, we want now to go into a professional way of presenting your intent. You are making your proposal known to the reader. We say or implementing a project and measuring its progress on a continuous or periodical basis of the project operation. So as we continue, I want us to look at the format. And I mentioned earlier on that different donors, different organizations, different funding organizations, different foundations have different formats for their project proposals. But there are particular standard way that what we call the minimum information that must be there. And you'll find that in one way or the other, what we are going to outline here will definitely be there. One, whatever format in use, consider the following fundamental elements. Number one is a cover letter. The cover letter is also referred to a letter of transmittal. It is your personal message to the reader. So you are writing to the reader, to the donor, to the funding organization, and you are trying to say, attached, please find a detailed proposal for this project. So because you do not want just to hand over a proposal to someone's hand and you say, what do I do with it? So there must be a letter to say, present to you a proposal which is intended to take care of the needs of the people who are poor and the vulnerable in the urban part of Kenya or Nairobi, who have problems of shelter, and we want to upgrade their living standard. It needs to be brief, precise, and to the point. I don't expect you to write a cover letter of more than 1 page. It should be very, very brief because the details are contained in the proposal itself. So make sure it contains a total professional approach. Nothing like, you don't write begging, please have mercy. No, do not write it in a way that it looks too formal. Yeah, and I would say you may know the person whom you are sending to, but avoid, even if it's your agent, avoid being too casual. Be as professional as possible. Don't end your letter with weak statements where you urge you seriously to have mercy, to consider, to feel, understand the pain that you are going through. That is a very weak, desperate kind of statement that's and transformation of the community in the continent of Africa. And we want to thank you for considering this project to be part of transformers in this continent. Put it in a way that let them feel it's actually going to be a privilege for me to fund this project. So that is the letter of transmittal, is the first one that that goes together with the proposal. Sometimes it's put in the first page of the project proposal, or it's in a separate envelope that goes together with the project proposal. And in many cases, it is in a separate letter, a separate envelope. Now, the next one is the cover page of the project proposal. So the cover page may include the country. We, especially projects that are, you are sending it to a donor or a funding organization that funds many countries. It's important that number one there, you put the country, such that if they are sorting out the proposals that have come, they will look at the country. Okay, they say this is for Uganda, this is for Kenya, this is for Zimbabwe. Then the next thing, the project title. What is it dealing with? So it's dealing with maybe food security. So you say, okay, this food security, this climate change, this the girl child. So you may separate them based on that. Then now it comes in the name of the organization. That is your organization. So you put there the name of the organization plus the logo so that it gives its identity. And then now your address, your email, physical address. Nowadays we look at where is it located, which part of town, which part of the city, which part of the country, and then the website. And the postal address nowadays is become irrelevant. So what's most important is telephone, email, physical address, and the website. Then the contact person, who is the contact person in this particular project? And many organizations, once you have the contact person, they would want to go and search and the cover page can put off people or can make people have a desire to open the next page. Then we have what we call the executive summary. The executive summary or abstract or a synopsis or a management summary is written last, but it comes first in the project document. Written last because you must write everything else. After you're finished writing, then you summarize, then you bring it first. It should be brief and concise. I mean, the international standard, should be 120 words, but it can be 1 page, maximum 1.5 pages. We do not expect an executive summary to run up to 3 pages, no. It should be as brief, concise, and precise as possible. it interprets a summary of the nature of the problem. What problem have you identified? The scope, and when we shall look at that problem shortly after this. The scope of the project, the objectives, the activities that you're going to conduct in order to achieve the desired results. And then you have the executives that should also include the total cost and benefit of the project. So you put there the total cost as per your budget. So you don't need to break it down by just the total cost. If it's a project that has self-sustainability activities, how much money do you expect to come from? About the organization, what it has done, list of clients or partners or organizations that you have successfully worked with. And then you move on to an area that is very, very important. State the main problem that needs to be addressed by the project. In this particular part, you need to say, what is the problem? How big is the problem? Whom does it affect? And if it's possible, and I would say as much as possible, give statistics, populations that are affected, numbers, give percentages, and those are the ones that will also show how big the problem is and how serious it is. If there are people that have died, for example, children who have died, children and mothers that have died during the point of birth, what is the percentage? How serious has it been? What are the trends? Put it in such a way you are almost touching both the heart and the mind of the reader. And this is where you either lose or you gain. And if you are able to get this person to see, yes, this is a true problem that needs urgency, then this person will want to read further. And as he reads further, now you now giving the project description. The project description should provide the goal, the purpose of the project. And here you are putting it in broad way before you come down to now come up with the project objectives. Then you need to identify who are the beneficiaries. And I did indicate, are they women, are they children, are they orphans, are they the marginalized communities? Who are they? Target area, and that is the geographical location where the project will be implemented. And what activities are you going to handle to be able to address the problem? Now, when you come to project activities, it should also have project objectives. Project objectives and then project activities. And when somebody looks at the project activities, it can easily be translated to a solution of the problem that you're trees, and you are saying there's actually a problem of FGM. Someone should see, by doing this, and that objective is related to the problem that was identified first. Such that when you are going to the budget, You are doing a budget against an activity, and that activity is against an objective, and that objective is a project activities, which actually have explained that there should be general objectives, specific objectives, and these specific objectives can clearly be seen as outputs and the results, and then stated major projects, such that the projects, the activities are addressing the objectives, and the objectives are addressing the general objective, and the general objective are addressing a particular problem. There is a part that you need to justify why you think this project is viable, why you think that this project needs urgency, why you feel this project needs to be funded. Please describe why you want to undertake this project and what is the motivation, how it supports the target group, that's the beneficiaries. How does it contribute to the overall policy framework, the national priorities, and even how it relates. You can also, one of the ways you can also bring in how it contributes to the what we call them, the global, the goals that are global. How does it contribute to the national and international overall goals? How does it connect with the other organizations? So it's very important that you try to connect. By doing this, it's going to contribute to the climate change. By doing this, it's going to contribute to poverty reduction. By doing this, it's going to contribute to reducing illiteracy. By doing this, it's going to improve on health, on education, on poverty, on marginalization, and all that. How it will solve the problem identified earlier, that is also needs to come in your justification. Does it contribute? Is there a way it's contributing? Is there a way it's contributing to the problem that you identified earlier? You identified earlier a problem, and it was so sharp, and you brought it in strongly. By doing what you want to do, how does it contribute? How does it reduce? How does it reduce the pain? The impact it will make to the target group? How is it going to improve the lifestyle, the quality of life in the household? Poverty, and some of the items here that you can use for your justification could be poverty eradication, job creation, HIV prevention, although right now people are not paying attention much, women or gender equity or equality. How is it going to improve the quality of life for the children? How is it going to improve to the climate change or the environment? Before we go to project methodology, I want us to take a brief break, and that break will be break for 2 minutes and we continue. And when we come back, before we go to project methodology, I want just to pause and then get a few people to contribute. What are some of the common pressing problems in the community today? Whichever you are, you will introduce yourself and just identify a problem that you feel that needs to be addressed, either in the community or organization or wherever you are that need to be addressed. So we are taking 2 minutes. Then we would want to have 3 people just to share with us some of the problems they have identified or seen. We're 2 minutes, take a pause, grab a cup of coffee, and then we shall continue.
Hello, you can unmute yourself if you have something to share with us. Perfect.
Can I go ahead? Hello?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Hello, hello.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Martha Opili. I am logged in from Kisumu. I work in an NGO called Keeping Alive Society's Hope. One of the problems we have identified in the community is mental health issues. It's a problem that is affecting all categories of community members, starting from community members, people living with HIV, sexual minorities, different cadre of professionals, the police. By just looking at the kind of issues that are happening now, people are committing suicide, others are shooting the others. We have family problems, civil issues related to mental health. And when it comes to HIV programming, you find that the people who are, for example, number one, we're looking at key population programming. You look at already they're stigmatized, they're criminalized, then you're taking HIV drugs and you have to take the drug, you're using substances. So there are a lot of issues of mental health all over the community. So that's one of the issues that we have identified. And yeah, I'm sharing it with the group. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you, thank you. Anyone with something else to share, kindly, you can unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Gladys. So hello?
Hello, hello. Yes, you can continue.
Yeah. To me, the problem I've identified in the community is unemployment.
Okay.
We have so many people, so many youths, and even people who are past youth who are unemployed. People are not able to fend for their families. The cost of living is very high. So these are real issue. These are real issue. Even when you see what is going on now, the demonstrations and all that, it's easy to mobilize people as on Monday morning at 8, and the whole stadium will be full because these people are unemployed. You know, they don't have anything to do. They're just waiting for such opportunities. I would imagine if they were engaged elsewhere, they would not have rallies on Tuesday morning. Yeah, so that's my contribution. Thank you. Unemployment in the society. Thank you.
Thank you, Gladys, for sharing.
It is fighting, really fighting.
Wewe wewe ndio sasa zote lazima siambatane na chakula. Awe chakula naye nikikienda kila siku wala ufikiri. Nikuulize uko na kapsa pesa ngapi? 50k. Kama Uganda.
My name is Edna, and one of the problems that we experience in the society now is the extensive drought. From where I come, it had taken almost 3 years and a half without rain, and we had a number of livestock dying, and we almost lost humanity. That's a problem that we have in the community.
Okay, thank you, Edna, for sharing about the drought situation in the country. Jared, I can see you want to speak.
Yes, good evening, everyone. I hope you can hear me. The problem I can talk about in my community is loss of capital for small scale holders. I mean, business owners by the beaches in Homa Bay County. That is those doing small scale businesses of omena trade, especially when it rains, they lose everything. Unlike you may find that a widow or a mother left home with something like 1,000 shillings to go and purchase omena for business. When it rains, the whole money goes to drain, leaving the children hopeless at the end of the day, and even the mother will not have something else to continue the business with. I think this is a problem because all of them rely on the sun to dry the omena so that they can sell at the end of the day, and this becomes a challenge. It's a sorry.
Jared. Okay, thank you for sharing about the capital issue for small scale farmers. That is in Homa Bay. Okay, Mr. Wasike is about to get back in the meeting, so kindly give him 1 minute to join. Thank you. There is anyone else? Hello.
I've lost everyone. Sorry.
Yes, you can continue, Jared. Hello, Jared.
Now at least you're back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, 1 second now or not.
Very little. At times it breaks. You're breaking most. I'm hearing you now.
Yes, 1 minute. Mr. Wasike is getting back to the meeting. Kindly hold on.
As we wait for him to, Mr. Wasike, to come to the program, and noticing that our key speaker is an African, and a number of us are Africans, I would really appreciate to hear from Mr. Wasike, what is it that we as Africans can do so that we can solve these problems, because these problems is among us and it's only us who can solve it. I think I would be happy to hear that.
Okay, thank you for sharing. We'll pass that on to him. Okay, he'll talk about the issue. So anything else you can share? Anyone else with something to share, kindly unmute yourself. Mr. Wasike is about to get back to the meeting. So if there is anyone with an issue, kindly you can unmute yourself.
I have something to share. My name is Harun Abwana. I wish to share something about food production and value addition. You realize even when our people harvest, there are a lot of wastage of agriculture products or produce. A lot of it goes to waste, and that is why our organization, Potato Enterprise, focuses mostly on value addition. Take, for example, sweet potatoes. We make them into crisps, we make them into flour, which can be made, we make porridge, and sometimes even ugali. We bake buns and cakes from it. And that way, it is more consumable, it fetches more for the farmers, and in fact, it has a longer shelf life. And that way, it is even solving nutritional challenges. And I'm sure, like you realize, many young children of this generation people, they may not eat the traditionally boiled sweet potato, but they enjoy crisps or the buns. So we make it more palatable, more consumable, and that way, it is able to help our people get more money.
Okay, thank you, Haron. Thank you, Haron, very much. I think that's a very great initiative. I think also for change, we have to start with ourselves. So I really like the idea you're doing, and that thumbs up to you. That's really a great initiative. So thank you for sharing, Haron. In the meantime, before Mr. Wasike sets up, anyone else with something to share? Kindly you can share. Let's give him a minute to set up. Also, remember to always comment on the chat box if you have anything, any issue, any question, or any comment. Kindly reach out on the chat box.
Problem of connection, but I hope you can now hear me.
Hello, yes.
Can I just get one confirmation before I continue?
We can hear you.
Can you are able to get me now?
It's audible, sir.
Maybe as he proceeds, I wanted to ask maybe if we can also share the sites where we can be able to get these call for proposals, maybe. especially related to current trends like the issue of climate change? Thank you.
Alex, you can comment about that.
Yes, about that, we'll share screenshots of the sites, some of the very common sites you can visit. Also, the site you can check the latest funds. You can also check for sample proposals on the same sites. So in a short, share the screenshots of these sites. I'm sure they will be very helpful. So we'll share in a bit. Kindly hold on. We work on the connection.
You can hear? Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Wasike.
Okay.
Yes.
We are truly sorry about this. It wasn't intended, and we are and on project methodology here, we try to describe the detailed method or approach that you intend to use to achieve the project objective. And it could be a method that requires education, like civic education. It could be community sensitization. It could be a method on lobbying or advocacy. It could be a project of training. It could be installing, for example, with the unnecessary details. And as much as possible, use more conventional language possible. Try to avoid use of acronyms and abbreviations unless there are abbreviations that you have already prescribed, because there are abbreviations that in medical could mean something else different in engineering, and in social science it could mean different. So try as much as possible, you don't use a jargon. Don't try to show you really know English or you have vocabularies. Some of those The components of the implementation plan include project objectives, activities, time frame, when are you starting and when are you ending, resources needed, the personnel responsible, and exactly what is it that will be done. I'm told I am being requested to repeat and allow me to repeat, right? May repeat, may just go back. I'm sorry about this connection. I don't know what happened. So allow me to repeat right from project methodology. So please describe the detailed method or approach that you intend to use to achieve the project objective, and the exact method, whether it's training, whether it's community sensitization, whether it's lobbying or advocacy, whether it's training, it should be as clear as possible without burdening implementation plan would include the objective, the project objectives, the activities, the time frame, starting and the ending, the resources that are required, and the person that is responsible. And after you have done that, then you come to the budget. A budget is normally a financial plan that provides donors and project implementers with the financial information on how much it will cost to carry out a particular project that has been stated. Typical project, typical budget, non-personnel related costs. When we come to the personnel costs, these are costs for salaries and wages. That is non-personnel cost. So it's important that you separate them, and there are particular organizations that they say we are only going to fund non-personnel costs. Others say we are going to fund personnel costs, and there are those
Hello everyone. Apologies. Kindly, we are working on network from Mr. Wasike's side. But in the meantime, let me just share something in the meantime.
Are you able to get me now?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Wasike.
Okay, I'm very sorry for this back and forth. If you do not mind, let me know where I can go back to, from what point.
I think we can go back to project methodology, the second point.
Which point did I lose you?
The second point on project methodology.
Okay. So allow me to go back to the project methodology, and I hope from there it will not break again up to the end. I sincerely apologize for this, and I think for the next time we need to upgrade the system so that we can be able to go smoothly. So I'm going back to the project methodology with a lot of apologies. On project methodology, it's important that you describe the detailed method or approach that you intend to use to achieve the project objective. It could be a project that requires research. It could be a project that requires civic education or to sensitize the community, or it requires lobbying with the authority or advocacy, or it requires training, or it may require something like experiment or installation of like water, installation of solar, depending with the kind of project. So you need to give how it will be done. It should be as clear as possible without burdening the reader with unnecessary details. And this is the point I said, do not use jargon or difficult technical terminologies that would make the reader feel tired or lost. So try to use a simple language, professional language, and a language that communicates. The main reason and purpose of a project proposal is to communicate. Try as much as possible to communicate. The next thing here is project implementation plan and action plan. Here is you explain how are you going to implement the project. The purpose of implementation plan is to show how the project planning will be done, the allocation of resources, the monitoring and evaluation. The components of an implementation plan, it has to flow in this way. You have identified the problem, then you come up with the objectives that address that particular problem. What activities are you going to carry out to meet the objectives? Within what time? And that's when do you start and when do you end? What resources will be required? And the resources here in terms of money, that is finance, in terms of equipment, in terms of personnel, in terms of materials, and who will be the responsible person. That is the person who overseeing that activity or the project activity, such that it is easy and possible for the reader to follow up right from the problem, the solution, the objectives, the activities, the time frame, how the resources are allocated, and even up to the implementation. In that way, every coin seems to be seen what it's going to do. And that is what a project appraiser will be interested in. So as I bring here the project budget, the budget should also follow in the same way, providing the donor and the project implementers with the financial information, how much it will cost to carry out the entire project, and it should be seen in stages, in activities. It should be allocated, and it's normally divided into personnel and non-personnel related costs. The personnel costs, these are costs that are related to HR or the people, which includes salaries and wages, and any allowances that will be paid to the personnel. Then we have non-personnel related costs, which include equipment, materials, supplies, travel, utilities, rent of offices, and maybe stationery. I'm aware it is now about 1 minute to 9 o'clock. So I'm just requesting for about 10 minutes, I should be done. The part that many proposals people leave out is monitoring and evaluation. But the donors want to know, how are you going to monitor the progress of the project? And that's why it becomes necessary for you to put in how the project will be monitored, how it will be evaluated, and how the success will be measured. How do you measure success, achievement, and if possible, even failures? And who is going to do it? And what tools are you going to use to measure or to monitor? And some of the simple ways of determining or carrying out monitoring is like inspection, meetings, reports, could be monthly reports, could be quarterly reports, annual reports, midterm evaluation, etc. And there should be some verifiable measures to determine whether a project has succeeded or not succeeded, and whether an activity has been done successfully or not done successfully. Then there is project sustainability. To measure, to ensure that the project is suitable, sustainable after funding has come to an end is important. And some of the activities that I propose here could be income generating activities, community involvement, cost sharing approach for services offered, some investment, and how the project will be, the community and the beneficiaries will be involved in carrying out their own activities to go beyond the project funding. Donors want to find that. However, in low tones, we can say some donors would want you to show about the project sustainability, but of course, they do not want to be completely kicked out of the project. They still want to be part of it. Now, there's something which I felt it is a value addition to this presentation today. It's called logical framework. And in short, people refer to it as log frame. A log frame is normally a summary that you can attach, or it becomes part of the project proposal. It's very useful. Just like in business, we have something in business called business canvas. And in project proposal writing, we have a logical framework. A logical framework is a management tool which assists in planning, implementing, monitoring, and evaluation of a project. And it helps also in strategic plans and programs. Its objective is just to summarize everything in the project to guide the implementing agencies, the stakeholders and donors here, stakeholders, as they plan for the project activities to ensure that ensures a coordinated and easily recognizable approach to planning. And I want just to show you how it looks like. It's put in a table. And across here, we have narrative summary. We have the objectives and verifiable indicators, means of verifiables, and then what assumptions are you making? And going down, we have the goal. And the goal here is wide impact on the society. What impact, the general impact that you are going to make on the society. And then down here we have development objectives, why, and that's benefiting target groups. And so you will be looking at now the goal and the objective verifiable indicators here. And here you are looking at the performance measures of impact. Is it the numbers? Is it the change in behavior? Is it the improvement in household income? What is it? Then we come here, means of verifiables under the goal, sources of information on indicators, where you getting the information. And then it moves on, and then development objectives, and you can go across. And the next one, which is continuation of the same, we look at the output. What are the deliverables? What is it that are deliverables that can be seen? And then down here is the activities, how development of, that is how is it going to be done? Development of services. And when you go across, you can be able to put all this information in a table like this. So these are the features of the log frame concept, or what we call log frame. And if you have this, it is very possible the entire project proposal can be summarized on this particular table. One of the things that I would really desire to do, that for those who are able and it's possible to have a physical training, normally this particular training takes 3 days, so that when you come in, we take you through a process of identifying a problem, assessing that particular problem, appraising that problem, and then coming down to the root problem. Then we identify a solution for each different kind of problem. And we do it practically, such that after you have identified the problem, we screen that problem, and then we come down to what is the root problem of the community. Then we identify the solution. After identifying the solution, then we come up with the goal, the objectives, and then from the objectives, we come up to the activities, and you do it. By the end of 3 days, a person, each participant is able to get a simple proposal that you go home with. And by so doing, then you, at the end of the day, you summarize all that you have put on that proposal, and you summarize it on a log frame. Now, when you have a log frame, some donors just look at the log frame, which is in most cases is just 1 page, maximum 2, but just 1 page. And they are able to look at it and they are satisfied, yes, this project is viable and we can fund it. What are the benefits? It promotes a clear understanding of the stated plan, a basis for defining and allocating responsible persons and responsible persons, a tool for measuring progress. It defines outputs, activities, and measures. And it's also used as a marketing tool, just as the project proposal is. And then it also promotes a common understanding of what needs to be done. So a log frame is very, very important because it summarizes everything that you have written in that particular project. And it helps even during the implementation for you to refer to it. And it's a tool that's also used during the monitoring. It provides the basis for which implementation and operation tools are used, work plans, the budgets, responsibilities, and activities. Provide the basis for assigning project impact and provides input required for the entire project. That is a log frame, or what we call a logical framework. As I come towards the end, there are normally in every proposal, it's important for you to have some documents that are annexed or attached in the appendices or appendix. And here we have some of the supportive documents is what now we have just looked at: a logical framework, maps, registration certificate or legal agreements, bank statements when is required, organizational profile or the profile of the founder, and then the action plan, some photos of the activities that you may have carried out. You may put there some of the activities to show that whatever you are saying, you have done it. There is some past history that you have done it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very sorry that we had some hitches in between. We began well, and it seems we are ending well, but in between we had some storms, and that's why we inconvenienced you, but it was not intended, and we personally apologize for that. Otherwise, this comes to an end, and I'll be very willing to respond to any question that you may have. And at the same time, we can also think of the way forward so that we can do better and we can benefit all of you. Now, these notes will be available from the office. We're going to make them available, and you all need to get in touch with the office. And I think Cynthia will be telling us how you can be able to get in touch so that you can get the notes. What you need is for you to send your email and directly to Cynthia, and she will be able to organize for you to get the notes. Number two, for those who may need a training on face-to-face, where we would not have inconvenience of the internet, would be very glad to do so. So Cynthia can also speak to that. And we have the director of this organization. I hope she is listening. That is Regina. She will be able to address us and tell us maybe on the way forward. The other thing is, for those who are interested to get a certificate on what we have shared today, then you will need to get in touch with Cynthia by giving your name, full name. And I don't know, she did the registration. If you would have the full name, and that is the name that you would wish to appear on the certificate, then you can do so, but there is a little fee that is attached for that certificate, and I believe Regina should be able to tell us. But for now, before we go to Regina or to go to administrative issues, let me hear some questions or concerns. A few other concerns have already been put on the chat, and I believe the entire team and the crew will be able to handle that. Anthony Mwangi, I don't know whether you are carrying up your hand now or it was the other time.
Good evening.
Evening to you.
Yeah, my name is Titus.
Okay, Bwana Titus.
I thank you for your presentation, and I just want to request if you can get a sample of a project proposal. If, for example, I want to do one probably after this training.
Okay. Let us get like 3 questions and then I can be able to respond.
Thank you.
Hello.
Oh.
Yes, my name is Martha. I have 2 questions. The first one is on methodology. You
yes.
talked of someone can choose a methodology. So my question is, in one project, can you do a combination of methodologies, or you must always use one methodology per project? And the second question is on the cover letter. For example, some call for proposals have very specific number of pages that you need to write, and they have their specific templates. So at what point do you decide to put the cover letter? Thank you.
One more question and then I can respond.
Hello.
Yes.
My name is Harun.
Yes.
And requested, and I think I posted a question on pitching. Pitching is where you are maybe required to go and present the proposal now verbally, like the way you are presented to us. Probably you could just touch kidogo too. I know there is no time. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Okay, I will. Evening to you. Go ahead, and it's good to be saying your name and possibly the organization you come from. Sorry, I must bring this late, and then you can ask your question.
Sorry, my name is Jared.
Yes.
I'm calling on behalf of Suba Resource Mobilization, CBO. I wish to request that you highlight more on output and outcome. It's still I'm still having issues in that area.
Okay. I'll try to. I'll try to respond to the first questions. Number one, there was an issue of sample proposal. It becomes very difficult to get a sample proposal because every proposal is very, very specific. And it's so difficult to have a sample proposal that you say you're going to use it everywhere. What happens is that a proposal, the one I was just telling you, I was one which I wrote the other day, and it's just been funded, and even we have not yet done. Okay, I wrote one on ending domestic abuse in East Africa, specifically ending domestic abuse in the church, because the church in East Africa, just globally, they don't talk about domestic abuse that happens in church. Munakwaruzana huko nyumbani, you keep quiet, you go to church, mmefunga mdomo, there's nobody talking about this domestic abuse. So I wrote a proposal, and you find that that particular proposal had the guideline, we want this, and basically it was just to give one paragraph to show what is the problem, how serious is the problem. The next thing was methodology. The next thing was the budget and the timeline, and then the implementation. That was it. That particular proposal was completely different from many other proposals that I've written that requires, and this one was, I think, I would say about 4 to 5 pages. But the other proposal you find is 20 pages. You find another one 3 pages. So you can't have a really standard sample that we can give you, because once we give you, it might mislead you. You write another one, you take to IFC, World Bank, and you totally, completely, they will find, what is this? So I would say it's better you just follow the guideline that are presented by that funding organization. Because when I give you a proposal, sample proposal, and it was funded, you say, hii mwalimu alitupea. Now this one was funded. So whatever I'm going to write, it has to be like this. It ends up being misleading. And that's where I would say I would be a bit, I will have a lot of reservation. Now, there's about methodology. I would say it's not restricted that you must use only one methodology. You can have different methodologies within the same project. Like this one, there is one I was getting. The first thing, there was a document, a booklet that had been written in UK, and the first method was to get a team of experts to come and contextualize it to the African context. Then after that, after contextualizing it, it was to sensitize pastors and church leaders. After we do that, we had to do the translation to Kiswahili. So there's the contextualization, sensitization, and then there is what? There is now translation. And after translation, now it was now training of trainers who are now going out. And then monitoring is following the same trainers, how they are training other people and how they are using the document. So there are different approaches to that. So there's no restriction that you must use only one method to do a specific project. I'm trying to get the next question. The cover letter. Whenever they have given you restriction of the number of pages, I would say to play around it is have your proposal and then have a cover letter on a different envelope. And if it's in the email, you have the proposal which is attached, but in your email, you are writing a personal letter where you say, please find the attached proposal. So whatever you are putting there, dear Mr. So-and-so, following the request for proposal, whatever, I hereby present a proposal for a project to be implemented in West Pokot County for the period of 2023 and 2024. So that becomes your covering letter. That personal message on the email, as you are introducing the attachment, that becomes your letter of transmittal or the cover letter. Nowadays, we have the advantage of the email. Our cover letter is that personal email that you are writing. Pitching. Now, pitching, right now there's a program that for women entrepreneurs sponsored by USAID at Strathmore University. And I happen to be a part-time lecturer at Strathmore University in the School of Business, and particular under the executive education. We are there, they are not calling, we are being called, for this particular program, we are being called coaches. So we are coaching the women who have been funded by the USAID to do pitching. And that is a different thing. I think we can organize, and I hope that the network would allow us, we can have, possibly I can request Cynthia, Regina, and the team as a way of to cover the interruption of the internet. I could organize just 1 hour to take you through pitching. So if Cynthia will be kind enough, and if she asks for some fee, I don't know, but we could organize just 1 hour to take you through pitching. Because after you have written your proposal, normally you are required to present your pitch. We call it elevator pitch. Elevator pitch means you are meeting the representative of World Bank, the representative of IMF, the representative of World Relief in an elevator. And you have only 5 minutes or 3 minutes. And you have this great idea. How do you present it? That's pitching. Or you are told you're going to present your project to a team of investors or donors, and you're going to be given only 3 minutes. How are you going to pitch? So we have had 50 women in 3 different cohorts: the first cohort, second cohort, and third cohort of the of students at Strathmore University who are funded by USAID. So right now we are on the 3rd cohort. And tomorrow morning at 7 in the morning, I'm actually having the same women who will be doing their pitch to me before I hand them over to Strathmore, and they will be pitching before some investors. I had 30 women from Nakuru, 30 women from Nairobi, 30 women from Lamu, 30 women from Mombasa, who are sponsored by American Embassy. And I was the head of training. I had these different trainers across the country, but I was leading the team. After they finished the training, they prepared business plans, and each of those, after preparing the business plan, they did their pitching. And as they did their pitching, they had to prepare a short form of their business plan in about 3 pages. And they did all the 120 did the pitching. We had to go to Mombasa, Lamu, Nakuru, and Nairobi, and listen their pitches. And they had only 3 minutes to pitch. And the best 10 out of 120, we actually have presented them to Washington, and they are likely, those ones are likely to get some donor, a grant. It's not going to be a loan, it's going to be a grant for their businesses that they're going to do. So that the pitch is there, but possibly we can organize just 1 hour for this, but we have the management of the scale up, so I would want them to, if they give me permission, then we can be able to do it either later, or we could, I know there are people who are coming from very far, like Jared, you are from Suba, so you might find it a bit difficult, but I don't know whether you are in Nairobi. There was a question on outcome and output. This is something that normally confuses a lot. In most cases, the output are more of immediate results achieved after completion of an activity or completion of our training. What is the output? But the outcome is more quantitative, and it is observed over slightly longer period of time. So that is now the main difference if you want to get the difference. But because it is outcome and output, they almost sound the same. So what outcome after, what is the impact? The outcome is related to impact, and output is related to the immediate achievement of particular objectives. And normally, like after training, we give out an workshop evaluation forms that gives us the output. And then the outcome are the results that are achieved after a long time. Okay, can I give only an opportunity to two more, and then I hand over to the to the management. Tony.
Hello, Akisa.
Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Hamdu Mahad. I work for BOMA, organization that work in dryland areas. The aim of this organization is to end extreme poverty in Africa. We support the vulnerable woman to give seed capital to start up a small business, and it's more of the one you have presented in Strathmore. It's more of similar. We do businesses. We give business skills training to women. We also our goals is to the mission of the organization is to lift 3 million women, youth, and refugees from extreme poverty by 2027. That's the goal for the project. It is very informative, the presentation you have done. I appreciate, and I have learned a lot. I look forward to see you in person. And if not, we can keep in touch through email. I also wish to have the presentation in email and one proposal, if you can provide. Because I work in Garissa, where there is no more agencies that support the vulnerable women. We want to call for more funding. So I wish to have more proposal to source for this side. Currently, I'm in Wajir for saving group training with mentors. We also have a mentors who coaches the women we are supporting for businesses. Back to you. I appreciate for the good presentation you have given us.
Thank you very much for your kind remarks, and also thank you for the good work you are doing in the marginalized area. And especially, I'm very excited about you addressing extreme poverty, especially to women in those marginalized and dry area. So keep it up. As you touch one life, you are transforming generations to come, because this one person will take care of many households, and the community also indirectly gets benefit. Thank you very much. We really appreciate. Yes, one more and then we close.
Good evening, Mr. Wasike.
Evening to you, sir.
I'm Chebon Benjamin. Yes. Chebon Benjamin. I don't work for an organization. I'm a lawyer.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. I want to appreciate your experience in this industry. I see that you have an experience of more than 30 years in drafting these things. And my question is, now that I have drafted a good proposal, I come from Baringo, and our major issue is droughts, and we have been affected by the climate change that is affecting the whole globe. It's not only in Baringo. And I was looking at a situation whereby I've drafted a very good proposal. Maybe you can just give us some indicators, maybe of because like the donors or where I have a proposal, where do I get donors who will fund my proposal or my projects that I'm intending to do?
Good. Thank you very much. I'm happy to have a lawyer, my technical expert here, who has been connecting for me. She's an advocate and an advocate of the High Court. That is my personal assistant. Now, Thank you very much. By the fact that you have written a proposal is because you have identified the problem of the community. And I think we need people like you who can feel the needs of the community and feel I can do something. Today, if you actually just go Google the donors funding, climate change related projects or food security or children or the girl child, you'll find quite a number of them. But you can just liaise with me one-to-one, and I can, not that I have them, but I can look around and talk to a few friends and then find out which organization funds the kind of problem you are addressing. I have been to Baringo, down to the valley in Kabluk, down there. So I know how the place looks like. I've been to those sides of the Marakwet, up to Koloa. I understand how it looks. Chesongoch, Aror, Tot, Mbobut. I understand how the place looks like. So we can have a one-to-one discussion, and then where I could help, elevate poverty and the pain that our people are going through. So at this point, I want to thank you very, very sincerely for accepting and holding on and staying on up to this late and listening.
I had a question.
Yes.
Yes, maybe the last question. Sorry about that. I'm Judida Wanjagi from the Center for International Private Enterprise, and I wanted to confirm what is the difference between a monitoring and evaluation plan and the logical framework.
It's my turn. Let's be gracious. Are you going to apologize?
Okay. A logical framework is a tool that is used for monitoring. It's a tool that is used for monitoring. So a logical framework is one of the tools. It's one of the tools that is used for monitoring. So when you are monitoring, you can carry your logical framework to verify how it becomes like a marking scheme to verify what was intended, whether it has been achieved. Now, monitoring and evaluation is wider. Because monitoring alone is you are monitoring the progress. Let us assume you are building a road. From you, where do you come from, Madam Jedida? Okay. Assume you are constructing a road from okay, I'm in Nairobi at the moment, from Gong going to Narok, a shortcut from Gong to Narok. And that road is supposed to be 4 meters wide and supposed to go down the Maram and the tarmac. Going down, it should be 2 feet, or call it 1 foot down. And it should, it should also be completed within 2 years. So now, and then the amount of money to be used is supposed to be 200 million. So, so within 6 months, which is a quarter of the period of time, you expect that road must have been done 25%. So you go to find out, has it covered, have you done 25%, because 6 months have passed. Number 2, is the road you measure, is it 4 meters across? And then they normally even dig down, take a place, drill down and find out, is it 1 foot deep? What are you doing? You are doing monitoring. So that time you're doing monitoring. That particular monitoring, you will find it, or the measurement, you'll find it is stated in a logical framework. It is stated in that logical framework that within 6 months, that road should have been completed a quarter, a quarter, that is whatever number of kilometers. The depth should be this. The width should be this. So it is specified in a logical framework. Now, the activity you are doing is monitoring. The logical framework is a tool that is used during monitoring and evaluation. The logical framework becomes like a tape measure. Okay, up to that point, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
I have a question.
Wow, okay.
I finally.
Lavi.
Luvai.
Lavai, is it Lavai?
Luvai. Yes. My question
Can we
was.
make Luvai to be the last one?
Yes. So I have a question on a proposal I've been writing. So one of the issue is on my situational analysis, I need someone who's an expert to write on it. How do I handle such when I have limited budgets and I need an expert, especially on writing maybe a BOQ, a bill of quantity, or doing an overall budget?
Okay. The budget is easy and not easy.
Yes.
Why I say it is easy, it is based on the objective and the activities. And so the activities, you just make, what activity are you going to do? And that activity should be translating to achieving a certain objective. So it will determine what materials are you using, how many people are you dealing with, how long is it going to take, what is it going to be to involve. Now, a lot of time, sometimes we sit down with a book and a pen and a calculator, and we feel we can calculate everything here. It's sometimes important to go out and verify the cost of some items. However, when it comes to, if you are building, the best person here is you have to bring in the expert. And the expert here is a quantity surveyor or quantity surveyor, the ones who do bill of quantities. So you have to bring in the engineer who deals with bill of quantities. So you don't need to struggle on your own, because you will struggle, but you are not an expert in that area. But other areas is you'll have to go out and find out, if I'm going to use sand, what is the market rate of sand? If I'm going to use cement, what is the market rate of cement? If I'm going to buy a car, what's the market rate of a Toyota Hilux double cabin? If that, you'll have just to go out and collect all that. It's not easy. It is expensive. It is involving, but it has to be done if you have to be very realistic.
Okay, I was asking that because.
So there comes a time you have to go ahead.
Okay, I was asking that because we were doing a product design. So we were designing products for menstrual hygiene, and one of the hurdles I encountered is getting someone who has a manufacturing background, and especially someone who is aware of the ergonometric, the part of the design that goes into working maybe reusable pads. So getting an expert in that area has proved challenging, because most brands and companies, they don't put a leeway for you to go ahead and approach a designer or a project designer for that matter. So you find that whatever proposal you're writing, it has a gap on the technicality, and you don't know how to write it up as a feasible approach.
Yeah, and you see, when these people are going to check, they will. Some of them are experts.
Yes.
And you find somebody who is assessing your project is an expert in that area. So that's why it's important to look for an expert. Now, if you are, that is a live case.
Mm-hmm.
I have one of my clients from Strathmore University.
Mm-hmm.
I can ask her tomorrow
Mm-hmm.
because they sell medical equipment.
Okay.
And they are manufacturing. They import, and also now they have gotten into manufacturing.
Okay.
So I could connect you with her, and some of those things that you're talking about, I think she would be in a better position.
Okay, I'll appreciate that.
Yeah. So you got my contact there?
Yes, I got your number, the one that ends with the 66.
Yeah, 662. So we are having a pitching tomorrow morning at 7. So I will ask her if she would be willing to have a discussion with you, either on phone or whichever. She's based in Nairobi.
Okay, that would be good.
Yeah.
I'm currently
Yeah,
in
so
Nairobi.
beautiful.
Okay.
Okay. So Luvai, it's you who will reach out. For me, I will ask her tomorrow, and then now I'll wait for you to, if you would wish to connect with her, and she can be able to advise you, because she deals with those medical things. For me, I'm zero when it comes to medical equipment and medical things.
Yeah, I get it. I'll reach out on your number, the one that you shared when you're ending the presentation, so that I can get through to her.
And I've never written a proposal related to medical at all. Because I know I'm not competent in those areas. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me hand over, and thank you for your active participation. I didn't know that people are really keen and listening, but that's a proof that you are truly listening, and we look forward to having more. And Regina will be telling us there's so much in store, so much, and possibly we are going to organize for a face-to-face training on this, and we shall be able now to help you properly. Thank you very much. I really appreciate. As Cynthia, are you able to usher in Regina?
Hello. I hope you can hear me.
Very well, Regina.
So thank you so much, Mr. Wasike, for that. We appreciate your time and having the opportunity to share with us. And also for all the participants that have participated, we really thank you for that time. What Mr. Wasike we might ask for the pitch is that we can organize within a week, and then we can offer all the people that registered for free. We can select a day where you can talk to us, and we make sure that internet will be very efficient, and then we can have a part of what we have learned today and about now the pitch.
Okay.
And also what I can also request is there's someone who requested for a sample proposal. Possibly you can have a page or a 2-page, something that somebody can just have and have an idea of what they are expected to do. I'm very sure some proposals are 20 pages, 50 pages, 100 pages. but at least a 2-page or 3-page can give guideline to the people on what to prepare. So those are my 2 requests, Mr. Wasike. Possibly you can comment on that.
Yeah, you know, when you speak, you are my boss.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So for us, all of us who are here, I request that we're going to prepare a webinar, another webinar on an evening. We're going to share the links, and then we'll make sure that we learn. And also we have that sample. So this will be a start for greater things, all of us together. And also something that Mr. Wasike didn't also clarify, that he also does proposal writing for funding. So when you have his number, you can also talk to
about her leaving.
and mute Iris. So thank you. So you can have his number, and just have his number, and you can talk to him. If your organization can also be able to get some amount to spend and do a very good proposal, you can talk to Mr. Wasike and he can help you with that. Also, we can organize the 2 days or the 3 days where we can have now physical engagement, where all of us get out with a proposal in our hands. So there's so many things that we can do, and in that meeting we can now share more about the sites, and them that have received donations, they can also speak to us, give us ideas or what they have been doing. So quite a lot that you can do together. Then Mr. Wasike, kindly share your contacts. My co-hosts, share the contacts on the chat box. Share Mr. Wasike's contacts on the chat box. Also, we are going to share the notes. I hope you registered your email on the link on the form. Yes, when you registered there, we're going to send you the notes. Plus, if you paid for the certificate, we're also going to share the certificate right there. But this is a start for greater things, and I'm very happy that you were able to join us. I want to talk about Skill Up Mentorship Program for 5 minutes, then we close. So we are an organization that we help people get skills to do business. This is a CSR for us as a company. We have 2 companies, that is Westmill Concrete and RWK and Associates. And you can follow us on Facebook page, those 2 pages, Westmill Concrete and RWK and Associates. And we've been doing a mentorship program that is fully funded by us. And this year, when we were doing a strategic management plan with Mr. Wasike, he gave us an idea that we could do a proposal and ask for funding. So in the process of learning, that's how we came up with this idea to do actually a webinar where we learn and have other people learning together with us. So that's how the idea came in. And you can follow us on our pages and learn more. So these are some of the activities that we have done. We just bring people together, train them on a skill, a business skill, and then we make sure that that's a skill that they're going to do out there and make money. Yogurt making, baking, making soaps, making peanuts. We've done a whole range of so many, making bar soaps, and we are so happy with the impact. And we are so happy to see people come out and start a business with 3,000 or 5,000, and they're able to feed their families. So through this, Mr. Wasike, when he came to do our strategic plan as a company, gave us an idea of asking for funding. So in that, we are in that process together with all of you who are here. So that's why we are also learning together. So we got to learn that there are sites that you can ask for, you can check for donation. So the first one is advanceafrica.com. You can see it on my notes. So write it somewhere. They release those grants every day. So just keep checking and then keep applying. Some of these, they have an application form. Actually, you don't have to have your proposal, but have your proposal ready if they tell you, send us your proposal. But most of these things, they have a form where you just fill in two, 3 pages where you fill in, and through your email, you can see they have acknowledged that they have received and they are reviewing. The other part, this one I was introduced to by a friend, funds for NGOs. And my friend told me that his friend received 20 million out of this site. So they did an application through funds for NGOs, these are sites, and they received money out of doing these applications. So, and he kept telling me, because he knew what we were doing, he kept telling me, make sure that you check the website. So there are some of the websites that we've been checking out. Mr. Wasike, through USAID and other organizations, if you go, especially now that you're having so many organizations for trying to fund women, we have like what do you call, She Trades. There are so many, all of them that have some form of a program that you learn. This program you get in and learn. At the tail end of the program, they tell you, they will teach you about a proposal and pitching. The same way that you're having people go to Strathmore. Most of the people that are doing some of this, Mr. Wasike is coordinating, they have been selected out there and given a course to do at Strathmore, like a donation, like a program that is free. So they are vetted, possibly like they have 1,000 applications and they select 30. So at the tail end of the project or the program, you learn about program proposal writing and pitching, and you pitch to their donors. So you can go ahead and look for those opportunities where you go in and actually learn. So he was telling me that you can learn through, do I remember that group? That is given by embassy, US Embassy. And he was telling me, I know that you not get value on the training, but at the tail end, if you have a good proposal, you can be able to present it to donors, and they actually give you the donors that you're going to pitch to. So you can look for those opportunities, and I'm very sure that you can win. So yes, so I think the more we share, the more we stay in this connection, the more we can be able to even learn from one another. So yeah, so those are some of the ideas. And I guess, Mr. Wasike, next time when we are doing pitching, you have to give us real-time stories of people who have how they did their proposals. We want a case study, and they were given donations and they did a good job. So this is some of what we do, and this is an upcoming event next month. Where we'll be training people how to make yogurt and ice pop. So we take a skill that somebody can come in and learn, and within 2,000-3,000, less than 5,000, they can be able to start a business. So we give it for free. and we do a practical training. It is a practical course, so it's not a webinar. That is not a webinar. So yes, so they come on a Saturday, learn from 10 to 1. We give them some tea and snacks, and we get time to engage and learn more, not just the skill, also how to market the product. We also have ideas from people who are doing the same business. We talk about pricing and costing, social media marketing, and being bold to go out there and market that product. So we also talk about licenses, KEP certifications, like a whole, like from start to end on how to successfully launch the business. Yes, so so if you also have somebody who would want to come, they can follow the number and do a booking. So you have to book, because we able to accommodate about 200 people for the training. So at RWK, what I personally do, I'm a tax consultant. So if you go through our social media, you can see RWK and Associates. I'm a tax consultant and I do a lot of tax webinars. So this webinar, we've been doing it for over 2 years on tax. So go on our pages and see it, and also you can get in and learn, and also learn about some other activities that we do as a company. So the Skill Up Mentorship Program is a CSR, but this is what these are this organization that is somehow funding the Skill Up Mentorship Program. So the other part, I want to say who I am. So my name is Regina Kengori. That is what I do. I'm a tax expert, but you can go on my social media pages, that is LinkedIn and Facebook, and learn more about the Skill Up Mentorship Program and other activities that we do as an organization, and also others that I do personally. So if you go on Facebook, Regina Kengori, CPAK, you're going to find my page and you're going to learn more. So thank you so much for your time. And Mr. Wasike, thank you so much for that. So we're going to prepare another webinar to do the pitch, the sample, the case study of everything. And we're going to create a community that we can go out there and look for those donations and bring a change to our communities. So I don't know if somebody has a question so that we can close. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you also, Regina. You are the one who has brought all of us together. Otherwise, I really appreciate your big heart, and wish you well. Next time you stand, you have my vote.
Okay.
I don't know where you'll want to stand.
I'll stand at my home.
Okay, fine.
So God bless you. Have a lovely evening, and see you soon. We're going to do it soonest for the next one. God bless you.
God bless you.
Thank you, Regina. God bless you.